the second that I did Piers Morgan, they've been trying to convince people that I had something to do with these girls. Because when I was on Piers Morgan, I said I had 3 victims that were ready to come forward. The problem is, I didn't say I had Diddy victims. I said I have 3 victims against the Carters. That's not Diddy.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he the 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was by both men at a Video Music Awards after party in 2000.
You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did run your life.
A 38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of her when she was 13 years old is speaking out to NBC News for the first time.
For those who were never at these freak-off parties, what were they like?
See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my first-hand knowledge. It is my first-hand witness account experience.
The controversy surrounding Jay-Z grew even more intense with a new lawsuit accusing him of being involved with Diddy in a shocking legal case that caught many off guard. The lawsuit, filled with serious allegations, has put Jay-Z in the spotlight alongside his longtime friend Diddy, who's already facing several accusations. Jaguar Wright, known for speaking her mind about the music industry, didn't hesitate to address the issue. The whole drama kicked off when Wright gave a fiery interview on Piers Morgan's show, which many called one of her most explosive yet. In the interview, she called Jay-Z and Beyoncé monsters. But soon after, clips from the interview vanished from the internet, with reports claiming that Jay-Z and Beyoncé's powerful legal team stepped in, filing complaints to have the interview removed or edited.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious. Just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about.
The shocking allegations levelled at Sean Diddy Combs have burst the floodgates on salacious claims about an industry many people believe harboured a monster. Understandably, the internet's ablaze with claims about these events and whether other powerful figures were involved too. Well, last week I interviewed Jaguar Wright, a singer-songwriter who's made claims about Diddy for years. Those claims had already received a lot of attention in the media across many platforms for many years. And that's the thing about platforms. The reality of the modern world is that pretty much everyone has a platform as long as they have something to say that other people want to hear. That's why we invited her on to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience with or without shows like mine. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyoncé during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyoncé.
After it was pulled from air and Morgan had this tail between his legs, their lawyer Alex Spiro labeled the claim as clearly false. There's rumors and then there's nonsense, and this is one step further, he told TMZ. This is a pointed and formal accusation of something. I felt it needed to be responded to. I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is to remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court is gonna order you to. So I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly. Some people agreed with their legal team that you couldn't just make claims like this without any consequences. But there were some who felt that this made Jay-Z and Beyoncé look way more guilty than they would otherwise, and maybe the damage had been done. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's too late to edit it out. The internet lives forever. And I mean, they're right. once you put something onto social media, it takes on a new life of its own. And these days, there's a lot of people who are wondering now if Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't just in cahoots with Puff, but were just as bad as the diddler himself. Because even after the threats of legal action from Jay and Bey's legal team, Jaguar continued to argue that if Diddy was brought to justice, they would be too.
That's always been my focus. They're one and the same. Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
You saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
As opposed to jumping on the bandwagon, it should be noted that this is definitely the first time that she leveled these claims at Hove and Co. Instead, Jaguar, who sang backing vocals on Jay-Z's Unplugged album, has been claiming that Hove her and others for years.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler, and I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. Want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit. That Cassie shit, that's nothing.
Are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you?
I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me, and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy, it's gonna be the women that get.
A few months later, it became clear that Jaguar Wright was onto something. A shocking lawsuit has recently surfaced in the music world involving Jay-Z, Diddy, and a troubling story about a 13-year-old girl. The victim, who just wanted to attend the VMAs nearly 20 years ago, now claims she was drawn into a nightmare orchestrated by two of the most powerful figures in the industry.
We've got some breaking news to get to. A civil lawsuit has been filed against Jay-Z, saying the rapper a 13-year-old girl back in 2000. The suit alleges that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, the girl after the Video Music Awards alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The victim says she was invited to an after party after being spotted by a limo driver and was then by both rappers. Jay-Z is calling this a blackmail attempt. He released a statement on social media responding to the lawsuit, and Texas attorney behind the legal action saying in part, these allegations are so heinous in nature, you have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I look forward to showing you just how different I am.
This 13-year-old, I guess, lied to her parents about where she was at this night, and she wanted to be at the VMAs. So she rolls over to the Radio City Music Hall. This is in New York City, where the VMAs was being hosted, and she's like trying to get into the VMAs, She can't get in. She's going up to limo drivers and trying to shoot her shot, which at 13 years old, what the hell are you doing at the VMAs? I guess it was a different time. She ends up talking to a limo driver, discussing her plan, what she's trying to do. And apparently this driver was like, hey, you know, Diddy likes young girls, I'm paraphrasing here, and you're exactly perfect for the job here. And that's how she ends up getting exactly what she's wanted here. She goes to this after party hosted by P. Diddy, and she's there with Sean Diddy Combs, Sean Carter, who we know as Jay-Z, and Celebrity B, which is this female celebrity.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet. But it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball. The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs' limo driver, who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver, who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper because I have a religious background. So it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns her while a female celebrity watched.
JC comes in and me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him, and he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the.
After the alleged, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, "I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind," he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. "I have made some mistakes," she said. "Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me." The inconsistencies in her account of an incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago does not necessarily mean the...
In the aftermath of explosive allegations tying Jay-Z to a disturbing lawsuit involving Diddy, Jaguar Wright is once again in the spotlight, and she's not holding back. With her usual boldness, she took to her platform to declare that she's been saying for years that Shan Carter was never innocent.
He brought you on to speak on Diddy, and it seemed that as if your focus turned to Jay-Z, his wife.
That's always been my focus.
Yes. What?
They're one and the same. Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
You're saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
We asked you this last time, and Piers Morgan said it. They're not here to defend themselves. Do you think the Carters will speak about any of this at all? Do you just feel that they'll make any statement about what's going on?
Beyonce is losing hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything. Just pretending like life is great in Paris.
Is it her place to say something?
I mean, probably not, considering she's gonna be indicted for anything she would say. These are criminals. Diddy is a drug dealer, and so is Jay-Z. The proof is there. How many up people does he have to be around before people see him for who he is?
It seems like these artists are trying to run away from their past. Diddy changed his name multiple times to say, that's not me. I'm trying to move beyond Diddy. I'm Love now. It seems like Jay-Z would try to run away from his past.
Calling that love and anything that he did love. Brother love. What kind of love? Baby oil love. Baby love. Baby love. Explicit love. Hey! They never thought that hip hop would take it this far.
Oh man, it's different now.
These lyrics are all hitting different right now. All this that people talking about fathers, all kinds of stuff.
Jaguar, you told us all so. How are you feeling today?
Like Bill Murray in that movie Groundhog's Day.
Oh, yep. You're just you know, this is not surprising to you
at all.
It's wild. I asked you this earlier. You're not enjoying this because this is a tough day because Look, and I have to say I don't know the truth. But Jaguar has been warning us about Jay-Z. Yeah. Jay-Z has now had an official lawsuit. It's everywhere. It's now being talked about louder than ever. I guess, does that give you some peace to know that people are finally really questioning this man?
It's emboldening me. I spoke on Piers Morgan. I said that I had 3 victims that I've been working with, victims of the Carters, that were ready to come forward. This might help them feel a little more confident now. So this is great because he's been evading. But the thing is, everyone in the backdrop knew that he was the celebrity Jane Doe. Everybody knew that. They knew it when I did Piers Morgan.
Is Beyonce celebrity B?
I hope to God not. But she was around. And she's very... she's got enough on her plate. After everything that happened with the election and everything that's happening right now, I'm not going to dump on that woman. She got better fish to fry. Alex Spiro committed tortious interference when he called and demanded that apology, because clearly I was not exaggerating about Mr. and Mrs. Carter. But you allowed them to silently defame my character without asking them to prove it. If you're going to call someone a liar, call out the lie. He could just said, he could have called and said, this woman has done this to us or done that to us, or we've done this for this woman and that for this woman, and we don't understand why and this is the evidence of why this is ridiculous. There was none such process that happened. I was just discredited, and they were Jay-Z and Beyonce, and I'm sorry. It would be sad if I had to sue somebody to get made whole for everything that I lost this fall, because Pierce was so impressed.
In a daring move amid the growing allegations against Jay-Z, the outspoken singer has stirred up the conversation once again by reposting the unedited segment of her infamous Piers Morgan uncensored interview on her new channel.
I'm going to tell you right now that me, as a woman who has been in the industry for over 30 years, I've been performing live since I was 13. My first handler was McKinley Horton. I come to find out 25 years later that a scar that was on his face with a very elaborate story he gave me was put there by a woman who to live through these things and hear your elders in the business, people like Patti LaBelle say, just avoid him, honey. And being taught to be a just avoid him, honey. It's not good enough. Not when you live through these things, you're still suffering the PTSD created by all of this, and you're talking to a victim that's 20 years younger than you, and she's telling you the exact same thing that happened to you. You want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere. Forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately: Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through. our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
There's been obviously a lot
Cruelty-free artistry.
Right, there's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music. Yes. And that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think...
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met.
As the controversy surrounding the serious allegations against Jay-Z grows, the rapper and business mogul has finally spoken out, denying any connection to the lawsuit that links him to Diddy in a shocking case involving a 13-year-old victim.
You've made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. I look forward to showing you just how different I am.
Trial on federal charges, including trafficking.
For Jay-Z, this presents a very difficult situation because unlike Sean Combs, Jay-Z doesn't have the opportunity to say that he's being charged criminally and that this civil case should be paused. Instead, this case could go forward and he would have to sit for depositions, argue, defend, show where his whereabouts were, and the light of day could be very damaging to him both in the court of law and the court of public opinion.
Jay-Z has been famously married to Beyonce for 16 years. They have 3 children together. Today, Jay-Z denying all allegations, saying in part, "My only heartbreak is for my family," adding, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case." His attorneys quickly taking his rebuttal to court, filing a motion to deny the accuser's request to remain anonymous or dismiss the lawsuit, calling it a cynical and calculated campaign to force payment of an exorbitant sum of money.
There are a number of reasons as to why a defendant would ask that a plaintiff be named in a civil lawsuit such as this. They may simply say that getting the name and the time and place of when something occurred would better allow them to prepare for a defense. The other, probably less benign reason is oftentimes when someone is accused of a crime like this, the accuser doesn't want to be named, and if they are forced to be named, we have seen certain people decide to drop the lawsuit altogether. So it could be a tactic to try to get the lawsuit dropped.
The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward.
This recent revelation stems from one of at least 7 civil lawsuits against Sean Combs filed in October by attorney Tony Busby, all of which allege Combs dozens of victims for over 2 decades.
What shocked me most was that it was going on openly in front of other people.
Jay-Z responded with a statement on X calling the allegations idiotic and an attempt at blackmail by a prominent Houston attorney that we all know, Tony Busby, who represents that Jane Doe in the lawsuit. Today, he filed a motion, that being Jay-Z, to dismiss the lawsuit. Busby also released a statement last night saying he sent a demand letter in an attempt to settle this case, and his client in the so-called blackmail attempt didn't talk about money in that demand letter. He also requested that the accuser identify herself publicly, that being from Jay-Z.
Jay-Z isn't just rejecting the explosive allegations. He's also targeting high-profile attorney Tony Busby, who is representing the accuser. In an unusual move, the rapper has directly called out Busby, accusing him of using the case as a publicity stunt to damage his reputation.
Jay-Z is staying on the offensive, going after not only the attorney who filed the lawsuit against him and Diddy, that would be Tony Busby, the attorney, but also the accuser. And he has filed a new motion this morning, which we're going to get to in a moment, but basically he wants to level the playing field with the accuser. But first, we got to start with this response that Jay-Z had to the allegation. Catch you up real quick if you hadn't heard, but a woman who had filed a lawsuit against Diddy back in October, alleging that he had her at a VMA after party in the year 2000 when she was only 13 years old.
Right. Remember, this is when she allegedly was given a drink. She felt woozy, and there was Diddy, and there was a male celebrity who was unnamed at the time, and also a female celebrity.
Well, that unnamed celebrity is now named. She refiled the lawsuit on Sunday. She and her attorney, Tony Busby, refiled it and named Jay-Z as that unnamed celebrity involved in the. Jay-Z's response is extraordinary in that, look, we've seen all these lawsuits against Diddy, dozens of them now at this point, and frequently his response has been to deny it, but to say nothing else. Jay-Z went way more than just denying it. He did do that, but then went directly after the attorney. Part of his statement said, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt from a lawyer named Tony Busby. It made me want to expose you, Tony Busby, for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny." This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. There were other shots at Tony Busby in his statement where he called him an ambulance chaser in a cheap suit.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, and if you've heard Tony Busby's name before, it's because seems to always find his way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he seems to always find his way into the big case, Charles, right? I mean, if it's Travis Scott, if it's Deshaun Watson, the NFL quarterback, he's always involved.
So Jay-Z had that strong response.
Yeah.
Tony Busby isn't backing down, and in fact said that he denied that there was any extortion. He said, my client merely reached out and wanted to have a confidential mediation.
Right. This very aggressive statement. Many saying, no way, Jay-Z even wrote it. Very defensive, very deflective. Last thought from Jaguar, what is your response to this response from Jay-Z?
What I find interesting about that statement is what's not in it. There is no absolute denial. I hear ridiculous, preposterous, but I don't hear, I did not do that. More importantly, he's still having a hard time saying his friend's name. Diddy. You're not being accused of this independently. You're being accused of doing this with Diddy. Say something. I know that my friend is in trouble for all of these things, and it's unfortunate as that is, it's not me. Say something, but you're still trying to pretend like you don't know him. And that's a problem, because this isn't just your case. This is you and Diddy, and you still not mentioned him at all. But worse than that, he wants to talk about people being ambulance chasers and being, I don't know. My father was a Marine. My father, simplify. Hoorah. My money's on Tony Busby. And what I will say to everyone is, rather than getting into who's right and who's wrong, just listen to the facts. Just listen to the facts and let the details go. But the one thing that man did not do was still acknowledge the fact that Diddy is his best friend, and he was there during his reign of terror for all of it. A willing participant.
Yeah, it's pretty telling he never condemned Diddy once, and now he's coming forward hard just to save his own butt.
That would have been the time to do it. That statement would have been the time to condemn it. I haven't said anything before now, but this has gone too far. My friend is going through some very unfortunate things. I do not condone what he's done, but I didn't do it. None of that is there.
100%
With all of
agree.
the intelligent people that helped write that statement, nobody thought it was important to say, hey, we condemn what Diddy has done. This is terrible, but hey, it ain't me.
So what do you think? Will Jay-Z end up in the same situation as P. Diddy? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you're all about the drama, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more juicy music industry secrets. Until next time, fam, keep it locked.